To directly contact, put your hand on and feel what's at the end of your fingers is downstream. It's too late. It's not your senses you should be relying on. You don't see, your eyes don't see, you see with your eyes. Your hands don't palpate, you palpate with your hands. We always start downstream, then go more downstream. If I'm going to palpate somebody, I need to go into them. I don't go into them by going physically into them. I go into them by expanding them, which I'm going to take you through the process in a minute. So I can see more clearly. If I'm touching somebody, all I've got to do is change my mode of consciousness, and my perception goes from outside observing to actually inside the person, deep within them. It's a mode of consciousness. It's not a palpation sensation. So if I'm standing, let's put your shoulder for a second. If I'm touching someone's shoulder, I'm now outside touching, because I'm thinking that. You can feel me on the outside. If I change my mode of consciousness, can you feel it inside? So I answer the word shit, yeah. I haven't changed my hands, I've changed my mode of consciousness. That's all it takes. All you have to do is train that mode of consciousness. You've got to keep doing it when you want to do it on demand, within seconds. So, downstream thinking to what is experienced, which is the end. What is experienced when you go upstream? The experiencing of what is experienced. I didn't change my hands, I changed how I'm thinking. I backed off, and therefore things got bigger. If you chase something, it keeps going away from you. If you back off, not into a dream state, when we go through this is a 3-day course. When we go into the practical session, I stop people from going, it's a sort of quasi-dream state. You have to pay attention. So, the active distinction. If we just shift attention to the experience, we treat the experience as an object of experience. So if I tend to an experience, I'm now objectifying something. It's over there. I'm here, it's there. We are not attending to the experience directly. This would be introspection. I.e., if I visualize something I've experienced, that's introspection. That's experiencing the end product. I'm now deepening the end. If I turn up at a cinema and it says the end, I just stand there deepening that experience. I don't know nothing about the film whatsoever because I'm just taking the end. This has been confused as phenomenology. We do not want to look at the end product. Not a reflection on what's experienced. What is experienced is too late. This is introspection on the happened event, not the happening event. Fallacy of introspection. So to reflect upon something, it's too late. Self-reflection on what is actually experienced is backwards. We're always catching up. We're always catching up. We have to change the way we think. This is what Aristotle was trying to say. So, we don't want to get involved, not the thing experienced, but the experiencing of what is experienced. I'm going over this again on purpose. So if it's just one slide, you've just forgotten about it instantly. Okay. From what is seen or palpated to the seeing of what is seen. The seeing, the palpating of what is palpated. The active process, not the passive process. This will be finished in a second, don't worry. So active distinction, we want to go upstream. What is seen, the seeing of what is seen, what is said in language, the saying of what is said. So language comes into this. It's not what you say, said Wittgenstein, it's the way that you say it. What is palpated? We want to go into the palpating of what is palpated. Oops. So we want to go upstream. We can see more clearly the process. We're in the same world as the horse. So Heidegger came up with this really good idea of using two words, belonging and together. So, determines the together. Belongingness, which is intrinsic. Okay, so, you and the horse belong together. 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 This is the one we want. You belong together. You don't belong together. Yeah, do you get it? That's it. That's what I have to keep using those two words. Do I and my horse belong together? Belong together. Or do I and the horse belong together? A car and its wheels belong together. It's a shift in consciousness. So wholeness, the happening of belonging is important. We have to back up all the time. So belongingness determines togetherness. This takes a long time to get the hang of. The human organisms belongs together. Belongs together. Just a quick reminder. The idea of separateness should be obliterated. Multiplicity and unity. Georg Hultwind, I'll say it in German, has recognised that since we are not conscious of the process of cognition, we are not conscious of the act of thinking, but only conscious of the result of the process, I see the horse, our everyday consciousness is really past consciousness. So I see the horse, but I'm not aware of seeing the horse, the actual process of seeing, because it happens instantly. We are conscious at the level of the past, not the present. I.e. consciousness or thinking at the level of finished perceptions and not the process of coming into being. So our ordinary thinking is too late. We are already the past of ourselves. That's why mindfulness doesn't work. I'm not very popular. I'm John's other irritant mate. Right? I wrote an article on my website, which you may like to look at, called Mindlessness. Nobody's come back to me. So, modern science and objectivity. Because we're not aware of this process of consciousness, we do science objectively and always see the ball coming back, not the ball being thrown. You cannot collect data objectively. It's like saying, I want to be really objective, go outside and find me a bicycle. You come back with a cat. Because you're being objective. You don't know what a bicycle is, you're clear. It's nonsense. Objectivity is nonsense. You cannot do that. But science does it. No stuff. Picked a ball there. We're only aware of the bouncing back. This was a student in Poland. I do the 3-day course in Poland. Poland is the only country in the world that does osteopathic philosophy. So I asked my students to come up with an idea about objectivity, and one student turned up with a tennis ball and went against the wall and caught it. I go, explain. That's what he explained. Which is really good. It's right, it's love. We are unaware of our mode of consciousness, therefore we're unaware of doing science. We think it just comes back at us. It doesn't. We are doing it. So what we need to do is look at your whole world. Okay, so our world view, what everything contained in it, is really important. These are all our concepts, our fears, everything else. All in there, all in there. So what I intend to do in the next hour or so is empty that bag out. Okay? And not just empty it out, but actually get my hand inside the bag and turn it inside out. That's the painful bit. So therefore, what I'm saying is, it's not we're still using the same bag, but now it doubles up. You can use it either way. You can use it in one way, or you can use it the other way. You can use it Cartesian, or you can use it Goethean. You now have the choice, or you will have the choice the next 40 minutes. Remember, whenever you're looking at something organic or looking at a car, there is a background, appropriate philosophy that goes with it. Which is why people are confused when they look at cars, those people. And we're going to refill that bag up again with stuff. Okay? 2 bags now, look. 2 bags. Let's look at what Plato was about, the archetypal forms. Western philosophical tradition has always been hostile to everyday experience. This is this bit. Okay? And this hostility has only intensified with the rise of modern philosophy. Plato's two-world metaphysics. So this is what Plato was saying, basically. Everything you experience is not there. It's all false. It's all a personal opinion. Everything. Direct experience, personal experience, change of experience. All false. You're not here. None of you are here. What we need to do is get on to true knowledge, which is behind sensory experience or personal experience. And there's only one way to get there. This is what we know as universal ideas and forms. Again, I'm not going into too much depth because we don't have the time. So how do we get from the false to the true? Well, that's easy. Just use mathematics. Mathematics will reveal the hidden world of truth, the stable world. It makes everything stable. This is all unstable. Oops. So, Platonic forms and archetypes form your world. This is what happens today. You know, we only take research as being real. It's Platonic, it's Plato doing it. It's not, as I said before, it's not wrong, it's just the way it is. So what I say to people is everything you've done before through research is not invalid. Plato's up here in our world. I want to bring Aristotle and Goethe up to the same level. I'm not bringing the other one down. They stand behind your world, the realities stand behind your world, manifest in time but timeless. So the stable horse is behind the other horse, which we'll look at in a minute. We love these horses. One's a Plato horse, one's an Aristotle horse. Constitute, make up the essence of things you experience. So there's no such thing in the Plato world as instability. Everything becomes stable. This bench isn't here, you're not there. There's another bench. Now to get to the other bench of reality, I've got to weigh this bench. I've got to measure its length. Then it becomes a true bench. That becomes knowledge. Which means everything is behind it. Another one of my heroes. This is a fabulous book. If you can get through it, it'll hold any door open. It's very still. Richard Rawls, The Philosophy and the Mirror of Nature. He was a pragmatist, actually, in modern times. He died a few years ago. So, the archetypal forms. All humans share humanness. This is a subsection of Plato's work. All white stones share whiteness. Again, a subsection. These properties not limited to each particular case. It could be in any particular case. A thing may stop or die, but the universal properties of ideas and forms continues independently. So when this table is destroyed, don't worry, there's another one behind it. But not in this world, in the world of mathematics. So don't worry about it. Critique of Plato. I see particular horses, but not horseness. This critique. Plato. That's because you have eyes, but no intelligence. So from Plato, never trust the senses. I forgot where I took this from. So that's in regard to the horses. So what he's saying again is the horse you're seeing is not the real horse because you don't have any intelligence. If you have intelligence, you'll see the real horse. How does this approach demonstrate today? Okay, the Platonic approach, we go through a particular sense object to the universal. So therefore, the universal is behind everything we experience. We sense something, but that's not the real horse's head, that doesn't exist. We go to behind it, the universal. Go behind the appearance to the essence. We mustn't trust our appearances at all. Only way to know true knowledge. This moves attention away from the concrete, which is Aristotle doing that, to Plato doing this, to the external. Points deeper and inward, awaiting a deeper reality, not what he regards as a superficial reality of direct experience. Now, Plato's cave. This is from the Republic. This is the essence. He even used horses to demonstrate this. So what Plato's saying is, we're all here, by the way. We don't see reality. We're only seeing shadows of reality. The reality is somewhere else. It just happens to be people holding up a horse. So the horse is not, what we're experiencing is not real. There is another horse. If we want to get to the real horse, we've got to measure it. This is Plato's foal, okay? Real foal is not the one we see. Not the colour, not the coat, not the hooves, not the wet news. This is not the real one, the one we direct experience. Plato's foal is from a series of subsets. Foalness is a subset of horseness. Foal, we see a copy of ideal, changeless and standard. So the one we see is a copy of the ideal. The ideal is changeless and formless. This is known as the ideal form. This is a philosophy of what we call transcendence. You're transcending from your sensory reality into the reality of Plato, which has to be quantified to be real. So, Plato's horse is perfect, complete, and stable. Aristotle's sensed horse is imperfect, incomplete, and unstable. So, to get to the real horse, as in Plato's horse, rather than the sensed horse, we have to use mathematics to get to the real horse. So what we tend to do is take a horse, in fact, we are thinking, I've seen this in a lot of books on equine osteopathy, in what we call coordinates. These are known as Cartesian coordinates, which we'll look at in a second. This is an abstract generalisation. We abstract the essence of the horse and quantify it. In the end, what we're dealing with is no horse at all. We're dealing with abstract generalisations. This all happens when you put points on a horse and try and track the points. What we end up with is just a point, no horse. The horse is gone. This is not wrong, it's just the way we do it. This is the Platonic way of doing things. We can do both. It's not a problem. Right, let's jump into Aristotle. His philosophy is one of polarity. There's a polarity between you and the horse you are participating with. There's no subjective, objective. All Aristotle's philosophy is dynamic, not general abstraction. You are not observing the horse, you are a participant in the world with the horse. So, he changed the ideas of Plato, he really hated them. No transcendent reality of ideas, not transcending things. Aristotle, against Platonism and early modern minds, very, very similar to the early modern mind, would be against modern scientific philosophy of today. Aristotle was a physician. His father was a physician. None of his work intended for public press, so he kept it quiet. It was all research work and lectures and texts to his students. He didn't mean to publish anything except the Nicomachean ethics, the metaphysics, the physics, the anima on the soul. I punished myself by reading them all. Okay? Just so you don't have to. I know. So. I'm all give. Right, so, manuscripts edited by Aristophanes many years later after his death. His overall philosophy is still clear, opposite to Plato. Nature and forms an empirical world. This is the empirical world, it's a sense world. Aristotle's idea is the sense empirical world is real, nothing behind the appearance. The key word is appearance. Henry Bortoff's last book before he died was Taking Appearance Seriously. Brilliant book. Taking Appearance Seriously by Henry Bortoff. Aristotle could not accept Plato's ideas of reality as a transcendence. True reality is concrete and direct experience. This is what Goethe was going on about. Aristotle formed the doctrine of categories. Right. So the doctrine of categories, things, they are to be, in many ways, to be. They are being, they're expressing themselves. Tall black horse, one way tall, another way black, another way a horse. As a direct appearance, not as a substitute, not as that has to be quantified, it's there. This all depends on the primary reality. This is particular to the horse, the primary reality, not the secondary reality of Plato. Direct ways of being this horse. Direct, not indirect. So here's Aristotle's fold. Aristotle says, look again, emphasizes the individualness of a horse or experience. Nature of change is constant change. The nature of motion and change. The word change, where he describes energy and dynamics, energetics. Not just a foal, something else emerges from the foal. A horse. It matures into a stallion or whatever. It just matures. It unfolds. This unfolding process. That's his activity, not behind it. Being something, he coined the term substance, something substantial. Substance. This goes back, 2,400 years. Nothing changes. This is a philosophy of causation, not a philosophy of transcendence. This animal is causing itself to express. It's an underlying formative process which Darwin did not recognize. 80 still followed Russell Wallace, Alfred Russell Wallace. Alfred Russell Wallace, English evolutionist, and Herbert Spencer, because they recognised the formative process of the individual organism expressing itself into the world. Darwin didn't see that at all. Okay, so a quick look at Aristotle's four causes. Four causes Aristotle talks about as material cause, an efficient cause, a formal cause, and a final cause. The material cause is the flesh and coat, the efficient cause is the mother and father of the horse, the formal cause is its physical shape, the final cause is what do horses do? Function is always related to form and the horse's essence. There's no form and function. There's no function and form. The essence of the form is the function. There's no separate phenomenon. This skull is not a function, it's a function of form. The essence of the skull is the movement. This skull is moving. It's moving now. It's moving by its form. The essence of the skull is in its form as a function, as an essence, not separate. There's no form and function. You can't have that in nature. You can have it in a car. You can say this wheel has a form, and now I'm going to roll it as a function. But this is always living. There's no separation process. To get to that, we must understand the mechanical universe. Descartes himself, ready? Descartes. What's the mechanical universe? Through his works, he brings everything into a passive phenomenon. Again, not wrong, but quite malleable. You can make us all passive. We were passive, and our senses we are passive. We are recipients of light. Light does not go into the eye. If light went into your eye, it would burn your eyeball out. You are a participant in light. In fact, there's no such thing as light. There's only brightness. No one's seen one of these arrows. Everyone's seen one of these arrows. I've seen one of these arrows. I've never seen one of these arrows. So because we draw lines, there's no light. It's just brightness. Which I'll show you in a minute. I need to show you what you already think you know to know what we need to be going on to knowing. Okay? When you take a flash, which you probably did late last night with each other with your phones, you get to what's called red eye. Red eye is the vasodilation of your eye moving with the light, not a separate phenomenon of the light. Optics is something completely different. Optics is manipulation of the dead. Okay, so red eye makes you see. If you close your eyes and then poke yourself repeatedly, you see light. The eye generates light. The eye is an organ of light, and in a pathological situation, you get scotoma, like in migraines. Every organ acts the same. You get flashing lights in migraines. You produce light. When you overproduce light because of brightness, you're ill. When you get tinnitus, sound does not go in your ear. You hear with the sound. That's why you're an organ of sound. You stick your fingers in the ears, you will hear sound. You're not passive. Once you have the physiology books making you passive, you are stuck in the 17th century. We are all stuck in the 17th century. We are seen as passive phenomena. You're not passive. The reflex arc is not a scientific concept. It is a religious concept. When God contacts you through the pineal gland, your body is a machine. Your mind and body are separate, according to Descartes. This is from Dehana, 1633. This is dated. The reflex arc, touching something hot. How many physiology textbooks still talk about that's hot? It's a reflex going up to your brain, and then you feel it. That is so passive. Even worse, Isaac Newton spent his time at Cambridge University, didn't talk to anybody for years. His lectures were attended to one person. 90% of the time, Newton's lectures were attended by nobody. He would talk on his own to an empty room, because nobody understood what he was saying. All Newton's physics is based on the reinforcement of religion. All motion, all the principles of motion are based on the hand of God, the prime mover. Hence the word universe, or one mover. Verse means reverse. University. All university system is based on the Jesuits. It's about God. You cannot get away from it. And we have to be passive. Because if you were not passive, you would see. Therefore, it would make you a god. A.T. still got into deep trouble by putting his hands on people's heads and shoulders. His church kicked him out. Because he was emulating the role of Jesus. Correct? They even abused his daughter. It was horrible. The language they used was terrible. Isaac Newton ideas of nature as a mechanical universe reached its peak in the sort of 18th century, 1700s. So, no such thing as light, only brightness. When they got out to space, they realised everything is blooming dark. But the light's there, only if it's there. Unless a physical object disturbs the light, then you get colour. Colour is not inside white light. This is from Bortov's work on counterfeit and authentic systems wholes. This is the words of Isaac Newton. Gravitation can be understood only in terms of the whole universe, but we do not yet have the language for the whole. This is what Bortov was saying after investigating the work of Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton knew nothing about gravity. Isaac Newton was no Newtonian. He was made the person he was by his fan club. 80 still was no Stillian. Colour is not caused by, does not come out of white light. Colour is caused by the disturbance of white light degrading back into darkness. All shadows are dark because the universe is dark. What we're seeing is colour. You cannot see light between me and you. You can only see colour because you're disturbing the light. It's a breakdown process. It goes back into darkness. It's going back into darkness. It's fading away. If you get a prism, which I've carried with me but we haven't got time, and you hold it up against the light, you will see the blue sky. Once the edge of the clouds come in, you see colour on the edges. You'll see colour on the edges because it's disturbing the light. You cannot see a rainbow without darkness being behind the rainbow and the light being behind you. There are two kinds of rainbow. There's a daytime rainbow and a nighttime rainbow. Has anyone seen the nighttime rainbow? I knew you would, Matt. I just knew it. I just knew it. Is that right? That's the nighttime rainbow.
No.
What was your one then?
I saw an actual...
Was it last night?
No. The moon was in the right position. It was actually a bow of radiance of black and white.
At night time.
At night.
Yeah, that's right. That'll do, yeah.
I've seen that too.
So what you're getting here is degradation. A degradation of light back into darkness. So light does not contain colour. All the textbooks are wrong. Okay, Val Kuntzen and his mechanical duck. This is why we think mechanically. It's influenced us a lot, the mechanics of everything. So, science fragments the animal. What we need to do is get back to the unity of the whole animal. And this, again, was based on the work of Goethe. Goethe coined the term morphology, which means shape. Here he noted that not the external spatial shape, but an intellectual process where shape or external appearance are one. You're not separating yourself from the experience. The modern idea of form is not an objective feature. Objective means eye, leg, hand, whatever. Forms seem unreal, so we make them subjective. This belongs to mind. So basically, what modern science is saying, anything that you think about is subjective. Anything we can measure and be objective is more real. Seems to be a subjective experience rather than an objective experience. Form, not a part of the animal. Form is the organism as a whole. So you don't say the form of the animal is the leg or the eye. It's not. It's the form. Don't analyse. Step back. Intellectually come back. Look left and right. Wittgenstein called this Übersicht, the overview. Stand, yeah. Overview. Okay? Goethe, form is the real or essence, what Aristotle was talking about, of the organism. You cannot see the essence of the skull by looking at it. You lose context, you lose perspective. So, to recognise the form of the animal as a whole, as a dynamic movement, we're going to go into this as soon as we can. Hang on, so I missed that one. So we call this concrete vision, or Anschauung in German. So this is this concrete, this is Aristotle doing that. This is the concrete. If you get a chance to look at Alice Arber's work on plants, and soil, Alice Arber, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. She wrote a book called The Mind's Eye, The Eye of the Mind, which we're going to look at in a moment. So we need to be aware of our active looking. We need to be aware that we are looking. We need to be aware that we are palpating. This is what Goethe called exact sensorial imagination. In my 3-day course, we go through this process of exact sensorial imagination. You have to practice it because you were brought up platonically since childhood. Not a problem. We need to move. We want to have the ability to choose. We go into what's called a visible aspect. A visible aspect is not what you see. Visible aspect is what is meaningful of what you see. You don't see through vision, you see through meaning. You don't palpate through touch, you palpate through meaning. If I dropped an empty Coca-Cola bottle out of my aeroplane into the Borneo jungle and the locals picked it up, hopefully they haven't been exposed to this nonsense, but they would sense the bottle, but they would not make sense of the bottle. That's the difference. If I go through the jungle with a tracker, I see the same things, but they don't mean the same thing. Because tracker in Africa go, oh, a leopard's been past here half an hour ago. I go, really? I'm not seeing the horse the same way as you are. I'm sensing the horse. I'm not seeing it the same way. Directing attention into seeing as not seeing as, not seeing at. That objectifies. Seeing at objectifies. Need to change from intellectual verbal to intuitive sensuous mode of consciousness. Once you practice this, it's a switch. Form of the animal as a whole, only in a holistic mode of consciousness can we see this. We see a quality of the horse. That delicateness, you know that delicateness. We need to see that clearly, and we need to develop the consciousness of being able to see that delicateness. Horse is incredibly sensitive, which we'll see in a minute. Form is the actualizing of potential. This is what Aristotle wrote about. Aristotle wrote about the potential and the exact actualization. A pile of bricks is potentially a house. It has to actualize to become a house. A horse is potentially actualizing all the time. Any living organism. It's coming into being, it's unfolding into the environment. It's not a function. It's not a machine. The intellectual mind, which operates in the analytical mode, sees only parts of the horse. It collects parts, it sees actions of movement, and it sees externally. A series of abstractions, some of the parts, which is our Lego mentality, and is mechanical. A reconstruction or re-representation takes place. A reconstruction, i.e. the leg is attached to the body, is a reconstruction. It's never been attached to the body. We break it down to rebuild it. The intellectual mode is unaware of this reconstructive process. You are unaware of it. I'm now making you aware of it. Seeing holistically, we need to change that mode of consciousness and form and understand the organism as a whole form. Goethe developed what we call the trading threefold system. Yeah, right. What we see here is a similarity between all bone, half bone, no bone. All bone, half bone, no bone. It's a transition period of bone. You only see through bone. You don't know what the animal is by bone. So we see an area of what we call vibration, an area of motion. No, vibration, rhythm, and motion. Vibration, rhythm, and motion. So the vibration dominant system is called the head sense dominant. So animals that are head dominant are vibration dominant. They twitch. Those that are dominated by the rhythm system, you can imagine, are breathers, heavy breathers. Form these animals in your head as I'm talking to you. They're rhythm dominant animals. And animals that are dominated by motion. They're the metabolic limb or abdominal dominant animals. So we have three sets of animals, a threefold system that Goethe proposed. This is one system, not a number one. This is one system expressing itself in three different areas. Every animal has all three systems. Where do you think we lie in all this? We don't have this, we're balanced. The most important part of our body is our teeth. We do not have a tooth that dominates. Therefore, this is the way in. This is why all our senses, except touch, are all above the bottom lip. Not because of the brain, but because of the mouth. We're overlooking the mouth. We're guarding the entrance. That's what we have lips do. Someone mentioned about horses' lips the other day. That's that touching process. The gut comes first. You can't have an arm coming first on the evolutionary basis. Doesn't make sense. Metabolism, to pass between, bolus, to go on. The gut is the most important part. That's why horses, I presume now, I learned a lot yesterday. It fitted in right in what I was saying. Wasn't I saying it yesterday? I didn't finish this lecture last night. I took so many notes yesterday. And it all fitted in primarily. The gut is the primary organ, not the brain. The gut, look, when we hear a loud bang, we don't go, what was that? We go, what was that? This is what roles us. If you could have any special powers, control people's bowels. Okay, nerve sense system. Animals have nerve sense dominance. They're nerve sense dominant. There are twitches. It wasn't going to They're dominated by the front teeth, the incisors. Look at human babies when they develop. What tooth comes first? And they're head dominant, they're nerve sense dominant, they're head dominant. We have to hold their head all the time. This goes right back to paediatrics, human paediatrics. We are no different from them. We go through the stages of what these animals are ruled by their teeth, because those teeth relate to the environment. Metabolic limb system. These are dominated by their bowels. We were talking about bowels yesterday, the horses and their mesenteries and their limbs. These are dominated by the bowels and their limbs. And the cardio system, which is the chest system. Their teeth arrangement reflects their thorax, which is the canines. We've had the incisors up in molars, now we've got the canines. So, primary and secondary morphology, for example, there's always a polarity between the nerve sense and metabolic limb system. This is the horse. The horse is primarily a metabolic limb system. Its secondary is nerve sense. Its tertiary is the chest. It's a cardiorespiratory. Every animal, every breed has this dominance of it's the three cavities. We don't have this. We're balanced. We're not brains. So the horse is primarily metabolic limb. Squirrel, primary nervous, secondary respiratory, cardiovascular. This dictates my treatment of how I'm seeing things. What we see here is not separate coats. We see one coat, self-differencing. A bullfather. There's only one coat colour. There's no central coat colour. It's expressing itself. That's what somebody asked me about a Dalmatian dog with its white and black spots. I said, no, the Dalmatian is playing its role in all dog coat colours. It's playing its part. Nothing stands by itself. So, two horses of Western philosophy, Plato's horse and Aristotle's horse. I've now got Aristotle's horse up front. It's not Willington. Up front. So, Plato's horses, Plato has two horses in his chariot. One's mental, one's divine. Okay, Aristotle only has one horse. Okay, this is direct experience. This is riding bareback. This is feeling it. This is it without anything between you and the horse. But Plato needs space. He needs objectivity. Aristotle doesn't. Right, am I right for time? Okay, now we have to see the horse properly. That previous quote I had about the two different kinds of science, they are directly related to mental operations. I'm going to disturb your mental operations now, okay? Before lunch. Perception is made up of the sensory and the cognitive, not one and the other. They both function dynamically as one. Philosophy doesn't like first experience, so it separates them into two passive phenomena. John went on about mindset. Mindset is everything. There is nothing else. Goethe said if you place the right button in your shirt, it fits. But it might be the wrong button for the overall shirt. It might be like this. If you look at each hole, it fits. That's where we are today. We're looking very closely in depth at each buttonhole, going, oh, that all fits, next one it all fits, but you stand back. It's like that. That's where the problem lies. So, I mentioned before about the hologram principle. This is Henry Bortoff said to me years ago, always use the idea of a hologram. So, we take a photograph of our horse, okay? We then transpose that photograph of the horse onto a glass plate, like a window, whatever. We then let that glass plate smash onto the floor. When we then pick up a piece of the original glass, what do we see? A piece of the original picture. Okay? We see parts. These are little broken parts of the original picture. That's what we see. Now, we now use a hologram, which is a laser. We now impose in the glass frame a holographic image of the horse. With a holographic image, you can hold the glass up and you can move it slightly, like on your Golden American Express card. You've got the hologram, haven't you? So you can move it just slightly, and you see that gold. You've got gold one, you've got platinum. There you go. Ah. But no, you see a slight shift. Now, you take that glass sheet of an image of a horse and you smash it on the floor. Every time you pick up a piece of glass, every time you see the whole horse in every part. That's wholeness. The whole is not separate from the part. The whole is in every part. Once you use language, you break the horse up. Arm, leg, sorry, the human beings. You break the horse up. It's language you have to be aware of and going beyond the phenomenon. Here is an example of wholeness. Wholeness is not a thing. Wholeness arises out of context. You are unaware of contextualizing as a natural, intuitive process. You have to contextualize, you would not be able to cross the road or make yourself a cup of coffee. It's impossible. What you're about to see isn't there. It's not there. It's context. Your horse isn't there as a physical object. It arises out of context. If you took parts of a horse, you would never see a horse. You're filling in the context through theory. An ear is an ear. An eye is an eye. A jaw is a jaw. That's not a horse. The horse arises through intuitive context and meaning, not as a physical phenomenon of parts. All organisms are like that. You can do a blueprint of a bridge, and once you make that bridge, it now has meaning and context to walk over. But before that, on the blueprint, as a pile of bricks, it had no meaning. It has to be the potential has to be actualized, as Aristotle would say. So,